What's going on?
I'm Rachel.
Nice, I am Rami. Thanks everybody for coming, and let's give them a round of applause.
Someone who's comfortable on stage, thank you for being here with me.
Yeah.
Someone behind the camera, always.
I know, it's cool.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I directed the first film, IBACH, that you watched tonight, just to remind you guys.
My name is Rami Even-Esh, and that was the last one, obviously. See, I was Josh from the movie Not Everything Has to Be So Serious.
Yes, let's make this not so serious.
I know, yeah, let's make it not so serious. So, let me just ask you a question about your film. Is your entire family, was that you and the entire family and the piano? What's the story of the piano?
Yeah, so that's not my family, that's the Brower family. They were here earlier. Tammy's still in the audience. Hey, Tammy. So I found the Brower family off of a local NPR article, and it featured Tom, the piano restorer. So I reached out to him, immediately got in contact with him, which was awesome. He got me in contact with the Browers, and they were like, "You're the third filmmaker to call us." And it was just wild coincidence. We met, we talked, and yeah, like 2 weeks later, I think we were filming because the piano needed to be restored.
So what is your personal connection just to the Holocaust? Like, essentially, because we both have Holocaust films, obviously yours is a little bit more serious than mine. But maybe you could explain to us, what was like, who drove you besides the article?
Yeah, I come from a Jewish family. They are from Poland originally, and they left before the Holocaust. But stories like that, we don't hear, and having an heirloom like that, of that size, is pretty unheard of. So I was immediately curious in the piano, how it got here, got in touch with Eric Brower, who was familiar with the story but not the whole story. And so I'm a doc filmmaker, that's my background. I focus on character pieces generally. This was a little bit more challenging because the piano had to become a character. So that's kind of how we thought about this film, is how do we make this love letter to the Brower family, how do we make a love letter to Heidi, the original piano owner, and how to make the piano the central character of their story.
And just to refresh everyone's memory, like what's the story of the piano in like 20 seconds? Just because it was the first film, so I was like, oh man, there's so much stuff that happened.
Yeah, yeah. The IBACH piano is a rare piano, so we don't really see it in the United States. So the restorer was like super excited about it, but it was from Germany. IBACH is a German company that no longer exists. I don't think it exists anymore. I think they came back for a little, and then we just don't have that many here in the U.S. But again, the Brower family, they did have money. They had some family already established in New York. So they brought the piano with them, we assume by boat, and it landed in Philly at first, even though the family was in New York.
So just for the cinematography, like something that I noticed, it was like how closely it was, this is my favorite part of the film, how they were showing how I don't know what the iron or coil was wrapping around so slowly. Like, to me, that was like but were you the cinematographer on it, or you're a person, or what?
I was not. That's a good friend of mine, a DP named Leroy Farrell. He's out of Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. So we were driving. I think we made 6 trips out to Philly. We shot on a Mini on some Panchro lenses, really super nice cinema lenses. And we were just trying to really create a story for the piano. So macro shots on all those strings, the dust. Everyone's like, why are you so obsessed with dust? I'm like, because it looks beautiful in slow-mo, obviously.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Another favorite part was just the baby was so pleasant. It was just bouncing because like the baby it was sort of like also the crowd, you're like, if you're watching this and you didn't catch anything, you're like, this is one of the most impactful pianos that could be ever recognized, yet the baby has no clue that any of this is happening. It's just like, he's kind of a little moment.
The babies are really special because they're going to be the 6th generation to own this piano, so that was kind of why they restored it. Brandon, who you saw, those are his children, and he specifically wanted this piano for them to play on, which is really beautiful. So it was his great-grandmother's piano that his daughters will learn on. And the piano sat unplayed for a really long time because it had a broken soundboard. So this was like the first time that this family, and even Brandon, his whole life, had sat in his living room. He's never heard it. So it was like the first time they've all even heard the piano being played, which is insane.
Do you have like is this a new sort of film for you to do just because it's like related to the Holocaust and you're showing it? You know, you're obviously doing like character pieces, but is this your first one related to your heritage? Because I'm also a Polish Jew.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So we do documentary films in every category: nature, people, social justice. But I've been on this journey for myself, being Jewish. What does that mean to me? And I think that I talk to my family. I've never recorded my family, but recording the Brower family has had me thinking a lot about it. And I know yours is about you. I mean, but I'm thinking, how can I explore my Jewish side? And you went to Auschwitz. You went to do these experiences, and that's something I'm really curious in as a Jewish woman now, to be like, how could I rediscover and reconnect with my background? So I think the Browers really helped me explore my background also.
Well, it's interesting, like I think about it, I spoke with someone today just about showing this film. This is the first time I showed anything, and so I'm very excited. Just in short, for who don't know, I got involved here because I'm going to be performing at the May event on May 20th. I'm a rapper full-time, now I do some stand-up. I have a lot of side quests, I think is the millennial term. I've always wanted to do film. They started shooting a documentary on me called Kosha Dillz everywhere. This is 2011. I started performing at Sundance in 2009. And the person that I shot my film with, Ed, who is Ben in this, I went to Auschwitz with my mother and my great aunt. My grandparents had passed away, and the entire thing was really inspired by these people that were taking selfies. They were from Norway, and I had a discussion with my father that these guys were taking selfies. They were from Norway, and one guy ended up, there was nowhere to go to the bathroom, so the guy ended up peeing in the center of Birkenau. And I told my father, he goes, well, he was taking pictures, so at least he'll share it with people in Norway, you know. And my father's the kind of, you know, guy, my whole family's been like Israeli military, but he would never show any emotion, so he'll never go there. So I thought, I ended up making a song about the Holocaust, a rap song, and I did a concert out there with the JCC at Krakow. That was who the bike ride was with. And then we were like, let's do it again, and that's when we shot this as an improv thing. We wrote it as we went along. We asked the Ukrainian refugee girl if she could be in the film while we were trying to pretend flirt with her. So I had to explain for my girlfriend at the time, like, it's not a thing, I'm not going anywhere. And so I don't really know how to complete things, but I was really excited for people to laugh about the vegan bacon business, because it's, some people might, like, I'm really interested in pianos, and because I just do music, but I think the broader discussion for me is like, how could you educate people about the Holocaust without saying, hey, we have a Holocaust survivor, and here he is, you know, at the end of April, and now we could kind of, you could put your film in any sort of festival, and I could put this film, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a Jewish festival, and that's sort of what I wanted to do, you know.
Yeah, and you're a comedian also. Or
yeah.
You do comedy.
Well, I'm on a show called Wild and Out. It's like with Nick Cannon. It actually comes out next week. So it's like a Paramount Plus thing. It's a black television show. I'm the Jewish guy. So, you know, it was canceled for anti-Semitism, and then they elected me to come when they came back. So I feel very grateful. So this is all new for me. And I would never be able to talk about the Holocaust with people, like, seriously. But I could say, hey, I have this film. And, you know, that's kind of what I thought about your film, too, that you could just show it to people that aren't necessarily want to go to a synagogue and
right,
you know, listen to stories, etc.
And your comedy is used as a tool in this kind of storytelling, which is really kind of, for something so serious, not so serious, and kind of I don't know if fun's the right word, lack of a better word, but it gives us something else to think about. It gives us something else to associate it with, and it's kind of like, can we laugh at this? You know, is this scripted? Am I watching a documentary? Do I feel wrong laughing at vegan bacon right now after just seeing that? So yeah, I think that your film is interesting in the way that it's edited and cut, and I'm kind of curious because comedy is all about timing, and so is editing and punchlines and music cues. So do you want to talk about, because I know you use some different techniques.
Well, so just so people know, like how we ended up. So Ben, or Ed, is Edward Jansen. He originally, like, anytime I'll go to Europe, I'll be like, hey, I'm doing a festival in Belgium, could you come film? And I'll just bring him, or Paris, and we're doing music videos, a lot of storytelling. So I had a layover in Amsterdam for 7 hours, so he picked me up and I'm like, let's shoot at the Anne Frank house and do like a scene. And then the sister of mine, Jessie Conweiler, she's had her films in Sundance, and she sort of helped us, like, really, she was like, I'm gonna be, you know, the annoying Jewish, oh, I love that for you, oh my God, that's amazing. You know, just one of those girls, it's like, oh, you know, just using all those terms that you're like, all right, I hate you, you know what I mean? But the timing, I guess, with, like the first thing I thought was that 10% Jewish, you could hate yourself whenever you want now that you're Jewish, you know? And I don't know, just thinking, it was so long in the beginning, and ultimately, I just wanted people to know, like, there's looking for the bathroom is sort of like, you know, you can't cry enough tears when you go there, when you go there, and if you haven't gone there, I really suggest to look up JCC Krakow. That's a bike ride that you could go on. It's a really amazing way to go there, because you're just riding a bike with all these, and they have this group of people called the Meshu Goyim, which are all the volunteers in Poland at the JCC Krakow. And they're just, it's like a huge event, yet people come, but it's not like the trip where they take you to Germany, to Israel, like the birthright, you know what I mean? They give you this sort of, this trip where you go, you know, and I'm Israeli, you know, I've been on all these trips, and I thought to myself, once you start going on them for so often, my character's supposed to play like the annoying Jewish guy that's like, yeah, every Jewish trip is, an opportunity to meet a Jewish girl, basically, if you're single. And if you're just, any convert I made, or anyone who's just becoming Jewish, is like very serious and very respectful and does not want to offend. And there's just a contrast. But Ed doesn't act, and I'm new to it, like on TV, so we were just like, no one would be like, sure, let me sign up and shoot a film with guys who don't know what they're doing. You know, sure, it's like, you crazy people. But it came out all right.
Yeah, and what's your relationship to Ed? How do you guys know each other?
He's originally from New Jersey. I'm the Jersey Jew.
Same.
Oh, okay. Well, look at this. This is awesome. And he moved to Amsterdam, and he just shoots a lot of my music videos. I shot him in Paris, Krakow, and I have a very serious song called So Many People. When I went with my mother, I was really inspired. I'm like, let's shoot a music video, and I'll write a song, record it, and we'll release it. So it's out. So I have like serious stuff. I work with Holocaust survivors, or raised thousands of dollars for the New York City Marathon for Holocaust survivors. I brought 50,000 people on Clubhouse. It was in Time Magazine. We had the first Holocaust survivor on Clubhouse. And then Ed is like he's the guy who I dream with, you know, we're like, let's make a movie, you know what I mean, that guy. So we did, so here we are.
You always need that friend, the let's make a movie friend. Yeah. Cool.
Are you adding any elements to your film to make it longer, or is this the final thing? And
this is the final thing. It's out publicly online on the LA Times Short Docs, so find us there, share with your friends, everyone, if you liked it. Also, keep coming to festivals, because that helps us as well, so.
I'll just say, for me, I shared it with only a few people, so this is you guys are the first people to really see it. My friends haven't seen it. I work with a Holocaust survivor named Sammy Steigman, and he's a very funny guy. He comes to a lot of my events. I'm probably going to do a scene with him where he's like, hey, why didn't you invite me back to, you know, something really kind of funny. That way, people who are offended, at least we're working with, you know, because I do want people to meet Holocaust survivors that haven't met them. So this is a great opportunity to also, he wants to get out there, and if you want to look him up, Sammy Steigman, so we're going to somehow, I don't know where our scene is, I'll talk to you about it, but if you guys have suggestions too.
So you're thinking longer feature, or are you thinking
ideally, this would be amazing to go show this to somebody, and someone said, there's a lot of potential here, let's give you a little bit of money and just get you people that really act besides yourself. Me and Ed, I'll just take money out of my account and say, like, let's just do something, and let's get it places, and that's sort of, you know, but I hope that we could continue alternative ways of Holocaust education through things, because once we lose our survivors, we're gonna have to figure out ways to bring people to it. So
yeah. Should we open it up?
yeah, let's open it up.
Anybody have any questions? Tammy?
I just wanted to share with you that just last week, the piano was delivered. My son lives with his family in Bethesda. They were waiting till they had a house. They didn't have a house, so it was in storage after it was finished. And it makes the entire house, and it makes it a home. Every day I'm watching videos. My non-Jewish daughter-in-law, it plays beautifully, and my son plays the guitar, and the kids are 2 and 4 now, and they just dance to listen to their mother play classical piano, and I haven't seen it in there. I'm going down next week for Passover, and that'll be the first time that I physically see it. And it was in my home for 30 years. It was the backdrop for the proms, for the bar mitzvahs. It was just the backdrop. It looked beautiful in my living room. And we tried to get it tuned a million times. It never held. And we sold the house, and it just, well, now what are we going to do? I'm moving to an apartment, and, my daughter's in transition. And my son was living in a small place in D.C. area, and they bought a house, and it was delivered last week.
Yeah. And it looks beautiful.
And it's the most gorgeous thing. It looks better than new, because he really did an amazing job. It was worth every effort and money to restore it.
Yeah, and I think Brandon said it beautifully, where it was almost like a piece of art that nobody touched. And when we first heard it played, we didn't hear this in the film, but it just felt kind of like haunting in the most beautiful way. Like, it felt like Heidi was coming back. Like, it felt very much like there was something else to this piano than just the sound, and it's the sound of Heidi. So yeah, it's really cool to see it now living not in Tom's studio here in South Philly, but now in a home.
Any other questions? Ask away.
Here, what's in the bag?
No bagels, just like stuff, just something to schlep here. I felt like I should bring it back. I came from New York, so.
No dill pickles? What happened?
No pickles.
Bring it up there.
So did you consider filming it in color?
Yeah, we did. Thanks for the question. We did, I guess, film it in color, and we realized that because of the shadows of the sun and everything, we're like, and this is such like an experimental thing, that we were, using such eeriness. So we're just like, let's make it black and white and kind of, give it that.
Well, it really contrasted how serious the subject matter was with, not having to be the most serious things. So that your attitude with the most serious the subject matter was. I just thought it was interesting when it was
Yeah, there's a plan where usually I just like Ed, do it. That's kind of like my relationship with Ed. We know each other for like probably 9 years. So once we started picking up as we were filming along, and things were just changing. It was like a 3-day process. So.
How do you get access to that mansion at the end of the film?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. How did I get access to the mansion? So I did a performance for Ukrainian refugees through JCC Krakow. It was an abandoned hotel about 40 minutes outside of Krakow. And it was an old hotel that just went defunct during the pandemic. And they converted it to a place where the JCC Krakow feeds and houses like 400 refugees a day. I spend about $25,000 a day. And they're like, we're going to bring you there. And so we went and we're like, hey, could you come? And she brought her daughter, and we just filmed, and we filmed all over. I did a performance there, and we had a barbecue. No one spoke English. It was great,
Cool. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys for
everybody.
coming.